Okay, so for this problem, we're going to look at getting all the trig functions to match. So we either need to convert cosine squared into sine squared or sine squared into cosine squared. So we're going to start with the Pythagorean identity. Which is sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. So sine squared is 1 minus cosine squared. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is substitute for this sine squared and plug in 1 minus cosine squared. So the new equation would be 2 cosine squared minus 2 times 1 minus cosine squared equals 1. So we're going to go ahead and distribute this negative 2. So we're getting 2 cosine squared minus 2 plus 2 cosine squared equals 1. So combining like terms, we have 4 cosine squared x minus 2 equals 1. We want to go ahead and get this equal to 0, so we subtract 1 on each side, and we get 4 cosine squared x minus 3 equals 0. Since this is only one function and one single number, we can actually solve this just by working with square roots. It would be equivalent to using cosine x. Let's make that equal to y. So it would be like 4y squared minus 3 equals 0. So solving for y, we get 4y squared equals 3. Divide both sides by 4. Y squared equals 3/4. When we square root both sides, don't forget to include a plus or a minus. So y is plus or minus the square root of 3/4, and 4 actually is a perfect square, so I could write this as plus or minus square root of 3. It's not a perfect square, but the square root of 4 is 2. So going back and substituting, we now know that cosine of x equals positive or negative square root of 3 over 2. So looking at the unit circle, let's just look at quadrant 1 first. Here's what we have. We have square root of 3 over 2, 1/2. We have square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2. And then we have 1/2 square root of 3 over 2. And your cosine is the x-coordinate. So we're looking at 30 degrees here. So this reference angle is 30 degrees. And since we're going with plus or minus, we are basically going to have one answer in each quadrant. So here's where the 30 degrees is here. And the reference angle always gets drawn from the x-axis. So there's another 30 degrees here, and another 30 degrees here. So one answer for x is actually 30 degrees. For the next one, you use your reference angle by doing 180 minus the 30. So basically you're going all the way to 180 and then you're backtracking 30. And that's 150 degrees. The next one is 180 plus that 30 degrees. So we're going all the way to 180 and then we have to add 30 more. And the last one is if we went the whole entire circle, which is 360, and then we backtrack 30 degrees. So for the 180 plus 30, we get 210. For the 360 minus 30, we get 330 degrees. So we have our four answers. Our four answers are 30, 150, 210, and 330 degrees. Or if you want your answers in radians, 30 degrees is pi over 6. 150 is 5 times that, so we get 5 pi over 6. 210 is 7 times that, so we get 7 pi over 6. And 330 is 11 times that, so we get 11 pi over 6. And those are your four answers.